Hey, this is GunsmithBeard back with another gun video, and it's really good to see you guys. Today has been a very busy week for me, and it's nice to just sit down and talk guns with the girls and guys on my channel. Like I said, I love talking to you guys. It's one of the great joys of my week. So, not to be corny or savvy or anything like that, but it's just me being honest and transparent. I love talking to you guys. I love talking guns. Love guns. But I love Jesus more. So let's talk about the gun of the week. But first, a big thank you to all the new subscribers. If you're new to the channel, I really appreciate it. Thank you for subbing. If you're not subbed, I'm going to get on you a little bit. There's a lot of people watching my channel. They love my content. They keep coming back every week, but they're not subscribed. Again, it's completely free. You're not being charged of any pennies. You can save all your pennies and just subscribe to the channel. Show us, join the club, man. Just join the club. It's free. Like, there's no excuse. Just hit the subscription button. Make sure the bell is turned on all new videos if you want to see all the videos. If you don't, that's fine. Not sure why you're here, but okay. And also thank you to our channel supporters. So that list has gotten a little thinner than last time. But Brownells, as always, Swampfox Optics, and Shooter Innovations are our channel supporters. You might have noticed that we lost one. Yeah, so all I can say is, you know, businesses have budgets, and sometimes they get so cheap they can't afford to pay people, and I don't work for free. So we'll leave it at that. Hope you guys are having a great week and soon to be weekend, and coming up on Christmas, everybody's spending way more money than they should. But anyway, let's talk about guns. That's why we're here, and that's what I'm excited to talk about, because I have a good gun that was kind of crappy when I bought it, but it's not so crappy anymore. So let's take a close look at that gun, and then we'll talk about it. See you in just a second. Alright guys and girls, welcome back. We're going to talk about my Marlin 336 today, but real quick I want to give you kind of a brief story on how I got my hands on this rifle. Me and my dad bought a lot of, I think it was 3 rifles, and there was a 36 in it, a 336, and there was something else that I cannot remember for the life of me. But anyway, mine, which was the 336, the wood, especially the buttstock and the forearm, were in very poor shape, and they weren't good quality wood to start with, and it wasn't like a really pretty grade walnut or anything nice, or even checkering for that matter, because it's an older model. It's an 89, or not an earlier model, you know, that towards, I think, the end of the 70s, they started getting away from putting so much money in wood and checkering and all that stuff, and because this is 89 and not a 70s or 60s, it didn't have all the fancy wood or fancy woodwork done to it. So I kind of already knew I was going to scrap that and do something different. And something different before the black edition came out was this. And it's hilarious that the black edition looks really similar to this build, because I did this way before the black edition existed. And a lot of people are doing that because it makes it a very old design rifle more modern. And so this is the more modern tactical lever action, or whatever you want to call it, version of a Marlin. Even though I will say the dark edition comes with a threaded barrel, and I really wish mine was, but mine's not. I even looked at pricing it and turning the barrel and adjusting some stuff and modifying stuff to make it work. And it's just too expensive, too time consuming to dive into that. So I was like, I just won't do it. And so that's why my barrel isn't threaded, even though I really, really, really wish I would have. I didn't. So let's talk about the 336 model. So the designer was L.L. Hepburn. This was originally designed in 1948, but there's a little bit more to that. We'll go over that in just a second. So if you go through the manufacturing history, the Model 336 started in 1948, and it ran under Marlin, solely Marlin Firearms control into 2010. And then in 2010 to 2020, 10 years, Remington had control over Marlin under the umbrella company, which was, I think, Freedom Arms or something like that, or Freedom Group. And they kind of controlled what Marlin did to some degree. And to be honest, when Remington tried to take over, a lot of that stuff kind of got worse, not better. I think the older Marlins are obviously better made and better quality. Then, as we know, in 2020, Remington crapped the bed, so to speak, and they filed bankruptcy because they had gone through 3 or 4 CEOs that didn't know anything about firearms and apparently anything about business, because they ran the company in the ground to the point where they had to file bankruptcy and pretty much lose the company. And for 2 years, there was no parts for anything because production completely stopped. And that was insanely painful for anybody that needed to service their rifle for anything. There was no parts, and what you could find was astronomically expensive. And if that wasn't bad enough, 2 years without parts, which I was a gunsmith in that time working for Brownells, that was terrible. About every call I had for that first year was about Remington, Marlin, H&R parts. Do you have them? Sorry, sir, I don't. And then a lot of 4-letter language, and then clicking and being hung up on constantly. That's fun stuff. But anyway, we know in 2020, Remington went out of business, filed bankruptcy for the most part, and then Ruger decided to swoop in and buy Marlin. Well, all the Marlin guys, including myself, was like, oh, cool, Ruger's going to buy them. Maybe this will turn out well. It did not turn out well. Not even close to turning out well. And why do I say that? Because they did not sell any of the Marlin parts when they bought Marlin, if there was any to sell. I don't know. Maybe there wasn't. But they basically told Marlin customers, if you have a Marlin that is under warranty of any kind, that warranty is now void. And it's not worth the paper it's printed on, because Ruger would not support Marlin owners or customers at all. Just completely, we don't care. If you really want a Marlin, buy a Ruger Marlin, and we'll take care of you then. Needless to say, that pissed a lot of people off. It pissed me off. It pissed a lot of people off. But I will say the plus or the pro to that, a lot of cons obviously with that scenario, but there is one pro. Because Marlin really wasn't making Marlin anymore, Ruger was making their version of a Marlin. The Marlins that you have, like this one, original Marlin, is worth a lot more money. And so a lot of guys that had a surplus of Marlins were like, they're at a record high. And a lot of guys like me, they buy guns not only just to shoot and have fun with, they buy them for investments. Well, it's kind of like stock. When that happened, Marlin stock went here, the value of their guns went up here, and people were cashing out left and right, especially before it dropped. So a lot of people sold their Marlins, or excess of Marlins. They sold some of them for top dollar, and I don't blame them. Who wouldn't? If you have a bunch, you don't want to sell all of them, but you have some that you want to sell. I would definitely do that. So anyway, that's kind of the history of production when it came to all the companies that got involved and pretty much destroyed Marlin lever actions for the foreseeable future. So we obviously know that Marlins, especially 336, come in a lot of different calibers and barrel lengths, and 30 Winchester was one of the most popular deer rifles that I think is out there. The Marlin 336 was a direct development of the 1893 model rifle, which was in production in 1893 and went all the way to 1836. All right, so the 1893 model got redesigned in 1936. Some of you might have already guessed what model that was. And yes, it is the Model 36. So the 1893 got redesigned into the Model 36. And also we know that the Model 36 ran all the way to 48, and 48 designed the 336. So if you have a 36, which I think my dad does, he does. I don't know why I said I think. He does have a Model 36. That had a production life of 1936 to 1948, so a very short run life. So if you have a 36, keep it. It's worth good money, quite a bit of money. And then the Model 336 had a much longer run life, meaning they're not as valuable, not as more were produced and manufactured. Really, in my opinion, 2010, if you have a 2010, 2020, I'm sorry, it's still a Marlin, kinda. And if you have a Ruger Marlin, you don't have really a Marlin at all. So that's kind of the rundown of a little bit of the history, a little bit of production life and history on that. I will talk about something really cool though. Marlins were known for having a lot of different calibers. And so in October 1st of 2022, a lot of the older calibers that were kind of I don't want to say antiquated, but just really old, not as sought after calibers, they were no longer offered in any of the modern day lever action. So give you a really quick rundown of some of those calibers. Might bring back some nostalgia for you. 219 zipper, 307 Winchester, 3240, 32 special, 338 Marlin Express, the 356 Winchester, 375 Winchester, 3855. Those were some of the ones that they stopped really pushing out in renderings. Now we all know that there's a lot of really popular ones like the 44 Magnum, the 4570, super popular, the 444 Marlin, also really popular, the 350 Marlin, 38, which was slash, the 357 mag, the 45 long Colt. All of those are super popular. Some of the kind of older calibers where a lot of the manufacturing of ammo, like the ammo manufacturing, weren't doing a whole lot, and the little bit they were doing was so astronomically expensive, people weren't buying it. So if you have an older one that has the more antiquated or older calibers that you really can't find ammo anymore, a lot of those are really expensive because they just don't offer them or make them anymore. So let's talk about my rifle and some of the things that I have on it, which I do have quite a few things on it. So the stock that's on this is a Champion rifle stock. They don't even make these anymore, and to be honest, it's really lightweight. That's kind of why I went with it, and it's black, so it kind of matches everything. But I'm kind of thinking about changing this out. If you guys have a suggestion on a really nice one, I kind of want a stock that has an adjustable cheek piece because I have an optic on it. I'm kind of looking for that. So this one has the big loop. This one I did polish. It was kind of a matte finish, and I re-blued it and then polished it really nicely. I love having the big loop. I also have the quick takedown lever screw. These are really cheap. I think it's like $6, and they're really awesome if you want to be able to take your rifle apart pretty easily and clean it. This thing is a godsend. I really, really like these. The next thing is my optic. This is a Brownells MPO Donut 1x6 with their mount. You get all of it. I think I got this for like $2.99 with the mount, which is insane. Japanese glass, so the glass is super, super clean. It is illuminated, so I have a 6 power illumination on the reticle, which if you're not really sure if you want illuminated or not, for low light, illuminated is great during dusk times. So like right first thing in the morning when the sun starts coming up, or when the sun's going down in the evening, the illumination works really well. I really like that. The handguard or rail system, this is Midwest Industries. They make quite a few for different models. They do make one specifically for the 36 and 336, and that's what this one is. It does have M-lock slots, so you can put accessories if you would want to. I guess if you want to run a bipod or something to rest your rifle on, that kind of makes sense. I don't know that I would put anything on there because I do have a sling stud on my stock and on the forend, so I don't need a QD mount or anything crazy. So I kind of just left it the way it is. I like the handguard because it's very sturdy and it's very lightweight. The hammer extension. This is Groove Tech that made this one. If you're running optics, I'll show you. Sometimes it's hard to get your thumb in there, so to have the offset hammer spur or hammer extension spur or whatever you want to call it, those are really nice if you're going to run a scope of any kind. Definitely worth it. The rail system I have to mount an optic on this one is by XS Sights. This is the longer one. They have a short one. I like the longer one just because it looks better and it gives me a lot of function. Plus I can move my optic. If I want to run a red dot or something, I can move it around the way I want it to. I think that's about it for my accessories. I didn't go too crazy, but I did go crazy, I guess. Getting it the way I wanted it. But yeah, this is my all black lever gun, tactical, whatever you want to call it. I do think I love wood and I love the older ones. So I don't know that I would do this on every gun. Like I said earlier, I like having one. I like the older ones and I like the wood, and especially if it's a really good wood, like a AA or exhibition grade walnut. Those are absolutely beautiful. So for this thing, like I said, the wood was trashed and I didn't at the time want to drop a ton of money in either carving a piece of wood for it or buying something that was already inlaid or inletted for stock. So this is what I did with mine. I really, really do like it. It is a great shooting gun. It's very, very smooth because I did the action trigger job on it. But just a great little rifle. I love Marlins. I love lever guns. They're a lot of fun. And this is a really fun project for me to do. I did all the hot bluing and all the nitty-gritty work while I was in gunsmithing school. I needed a project, and this was a great project that turned out really, really well. So I just wanted to share my Marlin 336 Tactical, if you want to call it that, with you guys this week. And as always, I'll catch you in the next video. And always remember, work hard, God first. See ya. Hey, this is GunsmithBeard back with another gun video. Oh no. It's just gonna be one of those days.